It's time to break down some football.
We got to get our mind right. Touchdown, win.
From the perspective of guys who played in the NFL.
Caught, touchdown!
And a guy who had one really great sack in high school.
Oh, you're so weak. You're a waste of my time.
Greg Camarillo and Marcus McNeil are the pros. And Skraby is the Joe.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Two pros and a Joe starts right now.
What is that from?
I don't know. Lita.
Graves is lost it, Big Mac. Graves has lost.
We are already recording.
This crazy in here.
This is going to be episode 48.
Uh-oh.
Thanks to George Reister for joining us on the last episode. That was fun stuff. If you haven't heard the episode with George Reister, you can. Episode 47. Just go to twoprosandajoe.com. But on this one, we're going to get into a few things that we didn't get into in the last episode. We're gonna reflect on Demaryius Thomas and his tragic passing for a second, because we didn't get to talk about it last week. And I know that, Marcus, you played in the AFC West for a while, so you've matched up against Demaryius Thomas, and you're also two Georgia guys, so talk about that. And then we're going to talk about Jonathan Taylor, the Colts running back. We'll see if he's in the lead for MVP after his long run. And we will also talk about Tom Brady. Tom Brady, at the age of 44, you would think that he may have been like a 12-year-old on Sunday night because of all the different things he did. So we're going to talk about
used
that.
to getting things his way, man. And they've worked out.
Oh, yeah, you think?
For 44 years.
You think?
Hey, Scrape, can you tell me one
Scrape.
thing? Is Jimmy G your Tom Brady? Like, is because
No.
I was like, could it be like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
No, I would say that, like, my Tom Brady is Steve Young. I grew up, my prime
yeah.
49er days were Steve
Oh,
Young.
man. Me too.
oh yeah.
I tried to throw a ball left-handed growing up so I could be like Steve Young.
Steve Young was a badass. I loved him.
Yeah, there's a couple run. He was like the original dual threat quarterback before a lot of those guys were dual threats.
Absolutely.
He also got hit in the head so many times that he's not going to know who he is later on in life. And I say that I'm trying not to joke because there's two NFL guys on here, but I mean, Steve Young was a quarterback.
He seems all right.
He is scary out here.
Yeah.
It's scary out here, man.
It is scary. You know what? Let's go to that real quick. First off, twoprosandajoe.com for all your podcast needs. Thanks to everyone who shared the Darren Sproles interview that we did. That got tons of feedback. Sprolesy, great on the podcast. He was episode number 46 if you want to go and listen to
great.
him. So you can go back and he's got great stories. But crap, I forgot where we were gonna go.
We were gonna talk brain injuries, and this came up last week.
What did you say? Wait, hold on. What did you say, Marcus?
Demaryius, remember?
Demaryius, that's right. Yes. We'll get into that, Greg. Yes. I see where Greg's going. My brain, if you guys can't tell today, it's a Tuesday. I've had a really crazy day.
Is it from that one sack?
It's from the one sack.
Damn, great.
I got some ADHD going on, like insanely crazy right now. But first, I mean, I do want to talk about former Denver Bronco, New England Patriot, Demaryius Thomas. He tragically passed away a few weeks ago at the age of 33. And things like this get me. At first, I thought maybe it was, a drug overdose or a suicide, because we've been seeing some of that with the CTE that's going on. We saw Phillip Adams, and we also saw Vincent Jackson. He was also found with CTE after he tragically killed himself. But Marcus, playing in the AFC West, and this news came out of left field. It was during a game, and it was very sad because he had been experiencing some seizures, and it had been happening for a little bit, and it was to the point where he had a driver for himself because he was having these seizures. But what do you remember about Demaryius, Marcus, and any of your thoughts that you want to share with us right now?
Man, Demaryius was like a stand-up guy, man. And I'm not just saying that because he's not here. Like, if he was right here telling me, like, I would let him know, you wish you can give the guy that roses while they're still here, but he was just one of those guys. He was a little bit younger than me, from the Georgia scene. I used to hang out with a lot of guys from Georgia Tech, Calvin Johnson, my buddy Calvin Booker, who turned into an agent. I think he actually represented Demaryius for a point in time, or at least hooked him up with his agent. So I got a chance to hang out with him as a young cat, me being in the league, but he wasn't a cocky, arrogant guy. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of quiet to himself, you know what I'm saying, but always had a smile on his face. So it was real pleasant to be around. Everybody actually called him Bebe. That used to be his nickname. I don't know if it caught as much in the pros, but people that really knew him kind of referred to him as Bebe, to see him go, especially so soon. He's younger than me and Greg.
And me.
Yeah, everybody, right? So like things like this happen, and like it's always like this haunting, like premonition in the back of your head that, hey, this could be you, you know what I'm saying? You never really know. And you think about, the guys having problems with dementia, ALS, you know what I'm saying? Like you never want to be that the just down that you can't even like talk and walk and eat, you know what I'm saying? But that's a realization of playing this sport. So that's something that we always have to live with in the back of our head. And it is a little bit scary, you know what I'm saying? Like
for sure.
you have to. I think I've talked about in the past that, I actually went to a rehab facility where they actually specialized in, brain trauma incidents. And that's why I went, was to make sure that, everything was working right up top, but regardless, every time you see something like this happen, like with the Vincent Jackson and Demarius, you just wonder, like, what is it? You know what I'm saying? Is it what I gave this game? You know what I'm saying? Because we gave it our all. You know what I'm saying? We were out there and bust our ass and didn't mind doing it, didn't mind playing hurt, but to see guys like leave so young, bro, it's just not worth it. You know what I'm saying?
Marcus, seeing these stories of friends and teammates now, would you have changed anything going back? And I try to ask myself the same question. And I don't think the answer is no. I don't think I would have changed anything. I think I would have. I think about running into a wedge, and that might have I avoided that, but I didn't have space to avoid that in my career. That was what got me a shot.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would have changed anything.
See, that's the catch-22. And like, to be honest, like even after, man, Greg, I went paralyzed on the field, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I lost both legs, both arms. I'm sitting there like a wet, you know what I'm saying, a fish out of water, just trying to flap and move, on that Thursday night football game in Oakland.
How long were you paralyzed?
Probably like about 5 minutes, you know what I'm saying?
Gosh,
I was able,
scary.
I was on the ground, like I couldn't feel anything. Like I remember just kind of like trying to gyrate my body. And what really scared me was like when I saw my arm, I thought I was moving my arm and my arm was just laying on the ground. So I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so when you have something like that happen, like it really doesn't ever leave you. You remember that. Cause I just remember the whole time I'm on the ground, I'm praying to God, like just, Lord, like, no, like, please, Lord, just not like this, not like this, not like this. You know what I'm saying?
Was that the, I hate to ask it in this way, but is that the last time you ever played?
That was the last play. That was my last play, and that's what I was about to get to. I was actually thinking about coming back even after that.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because you're making such good money. You know what I'm saying? I had just hit my contract. You know what I'm saying? I'm making 10 a year. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not from, you know what I'm saying, like this big mansion and, you know what I'm saying, and these big, having a whole bunch of money. So this was a way for me to be able to support my family. And type of heart I got, I'm like, hey, if this is what I have to do to be able to take care of my family for the rest of my life, like, hey, you guys push me around, you know what I'm saying? Like, make sure that I'm straight, you know what I mean? But in honesty, like, it wasn't until my grandma called me and was like, she was my biggest fan. She lived in North Carolina, country, on a farm, didn't have no cable. Only station she could get was whatever station the Chargers was playing, because that's what she ordered. She had to have the Chargers game so she could see her grandson. And she called me and she said to me, I remember it like it was yesterday. She said, baby, I don't want to see you play no more. Go ahead, you know what I'm saying, put your money up, you know what I'm saying, buy you some nice clothes and live the rest of your life with your kids. And when she said it, it was like something just clicked, like, yeah, like that's really, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's what matters. My kids. Some nice
clothes. She told you to get some Gucci on you real quick.
Hey, come on now. We gotta stay fresh now. You know what I'm saying? You look good, you feel good, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I hear you.
I want to bring up this because Greg was saying it. We're going to go back to it, or we're going to talk about last week. We never ended up getting to do it, but Phillip Adams, he was a former NFL player. The news came back that his brain had a severe stage of CTE going on, especially both of his frontal lobes, and he ended up killing 6 people, including himself, in April. And they're saying that the CTE in his brain was just like something that you don't see in someone his age. Now, that's not every football player, and that not every football player is going to go and kill some people and then kill themselves. But at the same time, you got to think, I want to ask you guys, and Marcus, you kind of already answered it. Like, it's kind of scary. And so I'm wondering if there is more that can be done from an NFL perspective about CTE going forward. Now, I think that you guys, speaking of Greg and Marcus, you guys play in the same era. You're probably the last players that are going to have played in the NFL without concussion protocols. And so now going forward, we're going to have to see in 20 years what happens with some of these players in the concussion protocols. But from what I read, concussions are bad if you keep hitting your head after you've already gotten the concussion. It's not the actual concussion that's terrible. It's the repeated hitting of the brain against your cranium or your skull or whatever. And I sound like I'm Dr. Quinn medicine woman over here.
That you were a doctor there for a little bit.
but like,
great show.
Oh, believe me, growing up, my mom loved her.
You are almost qualified to give Aaron Rodgers medical advice right now.
Almost qualified. But on the other hand, like, I wanted to get your guys' reaction on it. Greg, you're wide receiver. You said you hit the wedge in the kickoff return, which is probably going to
probably not word
crush your brain.
I ran up to them and then they hit me.
Okay. So you're just a crash test dummy, basically.
Yeah, just getting away.
But what do you think? Like, are you concerned? Because Marcus is concerned. Are you concerned about your future after playing in the NFL? Did you take enough head hits throughout your career, going back to college, going back to high school, that you're concerned about something?
Absolutely concerned. So every game, anytime I took a decent shot, my eyes would cross. Like, I would literally feel like I was looking cross-eyed. I even ran over to the trainer once and asked him, "Are my eyes crossed?" And he looked at Skraby.
I'm sorry to laugh. I'm sorry to laugh.
I mean, but in our era, that's just, even today, that's not a diagnosable concussion, but clearly something's not right. If you
stop looking at your nose, Greg.
Yeah. So, I worry about it, but it goes back to the question I asked Marcus. Even if I knew today that was brain damage, I'd still do it because of what football has done for me and my family and my life.
That's the big ticket right there. Like, and I hate to say it, but that's what it comes down to, because it's like a livelihood almost. You know what I'm saying? It's like a coal miner, right? You know what I'm saying? Like a coal miner who's supporting his family. You're going down there and breathing stuff that's no good for you, that could probably cause you cancer. You're probably not. But guess what? If that's the way you put food on that table and clothes on his back, that's a very tough decision for a man to have to make.
I'll tell you what I wouldn't do is, after a 20-year NFL career like Frank Gore, go box and get my ass kicked and get even more. Did y'all see that?
Yes, I did.
I thought
I
for
did.
sure.
I did.
I would thought for sure he was going to handle business.
Yeah, he's fighting. I mean, NBA players are no joke. They're tough dudes.
They're unreal.
But Frank Gore, you played 20 years of NFL football. I mean,
leave your head alone, man.
He fell through the little ropes.
People don't realize how athletic though basketball players are. Like they not only have, it's because they're not only fast and can jump, but they're also tall too. You know what I'm saying? So they have length as well. So it was I thought he was gonna get in there and rough him up a little bit, because football versus basketball, but
I would have bet the house.
Exact opposite.
Darren Williams, who was the one who fought Frank Gore, he's 6'3", so he's a big dude. Frank Gore is 5'9".
Did y'all catch the picture of Myles Garrett and Steph Curry talking at a basketball game?
No.
Yeah.
They're almost the same size.
Oh, yes, I did. I see what you're saying.
Wild. Because Steph, we look at Steph like this little quick guy.
You know
we
who
look
was
at
all
Miles like this gigantic monster.
Yeah, no, you're right. It
They're
is kind of
not.
crazy to see
Miles
it.
clearly has way more muscles, but
But
they're not all that different in size.
I came across working with the home of the Padres here in San Diego. I get to see a lot of the Padres, and Fernando Tatis Jr. on the field, he looks skinny. He doesn't look like he's built that well. But when he walked by me, I was like, "Oh, who is that? Fernando? Like 6'3", jacked, ready to go." Like I was like, that's when you start seeing these guys in person is when you really start appreciating how far away from the NFL I really was.
To continue on that,
you were this close,
Skraby. I thought we were going positive. 2 weekends ago for alumni weekend for the Chargers, we went on the field to get our return to glory wave to the fans and make it about ourselves. But we got part of the little tunnel where the starters run out, and Joey Bosa was last. This motherfucker is huge.
Oh, really?
Oh my God. He's gigantic.
He looks like he about 6 foot, maybe 6'1", right? On TV.
So big.
I wonder if his brother
he's like a creative player. Like if you were to go on Madden and be like, how can I design a human being to be good at football? You would design
look like him.
Yeah. And then you got his brother Nick Bosa, just like freaking NFL bloodlines flowing through that family.
Not all flowing through the bloodlines, but that's a whole other topic.
I didn't really hear you, and I don't know if I wanted to hear you, so I'm just going to keep moving on. But yeah, I mean, that's all very, very scary, very sad. So I'm glad that you went and took care of yourself, Marcus, and found out, tried to at least get some care for whatever is going to happen down the line. And I hope other football players do the same. I know that Phillip Adams, he was unable to take advantage of some of the programs that this is what I'm reading. I don't know for a fact, but you have to take advantage of these programs if they're being offered to you.
Absolutely. The hard part is there's resources there. Connecting the people that need it the most are probably the least likely to go take advantage of those resources, just because if things are in shambles, it's hard to go ask for help.
It's already hard. Like you're already down that rabbit hole to where, if you're dealing with, people don't understand, if you're dealing with anxiety and depression, one of the hardest things for you to probably do is pick up the phone and call somebody.
Oh, for sure.
Like that's not a common, like, yeah, it seems like it's something easy to do, but like when you're in that state of mind, like reaching out to anybody is the furthest from what you want to do. You actually just want to be by yourself.
Of course. That's why you can't let yourself be by yourself. And I realized that when I was a drinker, because I would drink by myself all the time, and people would be like, "You want to go hang out?" "Nope, just want to drink by myself. Everybody leave me alone. I'm going to drink my red wine, and then I'm going to move on to my Jim Beam before I go to bed." So
it's quite a combo.
Yes, it is quite a combo. We're going to move forward off that topic. But real quick, we've had some great reviews on Apple Podcasts, if you guys have heard me say before. So please go and subscribe, rate, review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, anything. If you go to twopros.joe.com, you can click the subscribe button. Also, you can tell a friend about it. Please tell a friend about it, and follow us on social media, because we are starting to gain some real traction, guys. I know I've been texting you some numbers.
Two pros and a Joe coming up in this world.
Yes, Sprolsey. He I don't know why I don't know the guy, but I keep calling him Sprolsey. His name is Darren Sproles.
I think that Breeze started that.
Drew Brees started that.
I think and it was Gatesy.
I'm not Drew Brees, so I should call him Darren Sproles. But anyway, he helped us out. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to Sproles. All right. We have the fuck to get to, but I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this.
So aggressively today. I like
the fuck.
The fuck. And then I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this, because I was listening to something on Sunday night about who is the NFL MVP right now.
Yeah.
And the person on the air said Tom Brady, and I rolled my eyes and I gagged a little bit, because Tom Brady is not the MVP of the NFL right now. They've lost like 5 or 6 games. I think that Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts put himself in the lead of the MVP race with that long touchdown on Saturday night against the Patriots. The Colts needed something. Carson Wentz, in his manhood that he was crying about all night, was
threw like 10 passes, man.
If that. He turned in a Mac Jones performance, but Jonathan 100%. Taylor at the end of the game, fourth quarter, they needed it. He ran 60 yards, touchdown. I think that puts him in the lead. But this person on the air said Tom Brady. I can't buy it. Marcus, what do you think about that?
No, I like Tom Brady a little bit more than I used to, but Jonathan Taylor all the way. He's the only one I feel like has been consistent all year. You know what I'm saying? From the beginning of the year to the end. And when you're talking about MVP, we're not talking about a one-trick pony where, you know what I'm saying, you have one big play that we remember, some big catch like OBJ or something like that. No, I'm talking about week in, week out. You come in and bring the lunch pail. And he got here. So I'm fine giving him the MVP. I don't really think any quarterback right now should be winning the MVP.
Yeah, I heard some people saying Kyler Murray too. I'm like, the guy missed like 4 games. How do you give the MVP to someone who's missed a month?
And
what do you think, Greg?
Lions. When you lose to the Lions, you're disqualified.
True. That's out now. Once you lose to the Lions, you're done.
So Justin Tucker hasn't showed up for me ever since I put him at the number one.
This is true.
And you guys disqualified me from that. All right, if we're going off of right now at this moment, Jonathan Taylor, yes. Dr. Joe Rogan's patient, Aaron Rodgers, is sneaking up on that list.
Oh, no.
But I know. And it just it hurts to even say that. But I mean, the man's playing incredible football. I will say that.
What about the DN from
Micah Parsons?
From Dallas. Yeah, from Parsons.
Awesome.
He's having a hell of a year.
Well, he's probably going to win Defensive Player of the or Rookie of the Year. But he may even be up for NFL MVP. That would be tough.
That would be tough. Dude's awesome.
I think he's definitely in the lead for Rookie of the Year, Defensive.
I think the only other person.
So Tom Brady was at the front of my list by default. Nobody was stepping up, but then to lay an egg on Sunday Night Football and be shut is the first time he was shut out since 2006
against the Dolphins,
against Nick Saban's Dolphins, which is exactly.
Saban?
I mean, he's been in the league since Nick Saban was a head coach.
I mean, that was like probably his
6th year. He came in the league in 2000.
There you go. Yeah, shit. Fuck, Tom's so old. It's amazing.
He is really freaking old, and he still is throwing fits like a little baby on the field.
Amazing.
Like I've never seen someone who is the biggest team guy when things are going well, but then when things are not going well, it's all your fault. And he's throwing tablets and he's yelling at you remember when Cassius Marsh got in trouble, or he got a taunting penalty on that Monday Night Football game between the Steelers
looking at the sideline.
And he was just looking at the sideline. Tom Brady came over, and I believe he said, like, shut the fuck up, motherfuckers, or something like that, to the Saints sideline. And he's caught on video doing this, and I don't quote me on that, but he said something like that. And
they're quoting you, Skraby. You're literally putting your quote on a podcast.
And everybody thinks, shut the fuck up, motherfuckers. We'll fuck you up, motherfuckers. That's what Tom Brady whispered into Dennis Allen's ear. But I'm saying, like, Tom Brady is the guy in the NFL. Control yourself, bro.
I hate Tom Brady as much as possible, and I'm okay with that behavior. He was pissed. He should be pissed. He was getting embarrassed. Throw a tablet, go ahead, break it. You got plenty of money to buy a new one, and cuss somebody out. I'm all right with that.
Why is Tom Brady the only guy who gets a pass? And you know, with George Reister, we were talking about black versus white. And if this was a black 100%. Quarterback, it would be. If this was Cam Newton, front and center.
Come a long way in our time on Two Pros and a Joe.
Yeah, I just brought up.
I applaud you for that. Applaud you for that.
Thank you. I firmly believe it.
You're 100% right. Totally agree.
It is just like Tom Brady, but Tom Brady is like, I think it goes past like black and white on that. Just because Tom Brady's the GOAT, right? Like it's like Michael Jordan doing something. You know what I'm saying? It's like you let Mike get away with certain stuff. He could talk to the referee way more, aggressive than a regular guy could, you know what I'm saying, without getting a T, because they're looking at like, Mike, calm down, just leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? Compared to anybody else, and the first thing that's happening is that penalty flag getting thrown, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was my fuck. So we're not going to officially get into it, but I was just like, dude, I just can't. And going back to the AB thing, I know I didn't get a chance to talk with George on the show because, he was saying such great stuff and I didn't want to mess any of it up by my stupid stuff. But I was like, the whole AB thing, I cannot handle. And Tony Gwynn Jr. tells me all the time, stop being such a guy for the people. I can't handle when athletes break the rules and continually break the rules and just get passes. I can't, because I'm not good at football, baseball, basketball, golf, whatever. I'm not good at it. If I did that in my job, I'm out the door. I'm done. I'm fired. If I show a fake vaccination card to my work, I'm probably going to get a felony while I'm at it. So like, it just bothers me sometimes how athletes are given the pass.
I think those fake vaccination cards came out so fast after the vaccination cards. I don't really think guys grasp like the trouble they would get in by forging it. You know what I'm saying? It's
right.
like, I'm just going to get this and show it, and then I'll be good. You know what I'm saying?
And the NFL will forget about me.
Yeah, everybody forget about it until like, oh shit, it hits the fan, and it's like,
we know Antonio's not the best decision maker in the world.
Do you know what he tweeted out after? Because Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk is like all over this story of Antonio Brown. And so Antonio Brown tweeted out, "Put some respect on my name." And Mike Florio replied with, "Can that fit on the back of a fake vaccination card?" Which was pretty funny. And AB post back, "I'm gonna post my COVID-19 vaccination video just for you. You need some business, so here you go. After this focus on the NFL, not Himothy, and no one knows who the hell Himothy is." But and then he later deleted it. Like, Antonio Brown, stay out of the news. You just got back.
Just play football. But he's not. He's just not the not the brightest crayon in the box, not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Really good at football.
I would almost ban social media from certain players. Like, all right, you're cool. No, don't even think about it. Give me your, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's true. It's true.
It
just is like, it's just like so weird to me that because a lot of us normal folk, and trust me, the only thing I think of when I think of that is someone said to me, "Are you going to miss Antonio Brown playing on the field?" No, he hasn't been playing since week 6. I don't care if Antonio Brown's on the field. He might have one great catch that's going to be like, "Whoa, you remember that catch, Antonio Brown?" But otherwise, I don't really care.
I want to see him out there. He's good at football. He's a sexy wide receiver. I like what he does.
They got to have him out there. Didn't they just lose Godwin?
Yes, of course. That's why all of a sudden
Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown are teammates again, like it's the Steelers from 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, Le'Veon Bell did get signed by Antonio.
Bring on Ben and Juju. Let's have one big
whatever you got.
Speaking, Le'Veon Bell is also trying to fight Jake Paul.
They need to leave that white boy alone, man.
Why?
I'm tired of him knocking brothers out. All right, this shit is setting us back. Straight up, man. Like,
so my defuck is pointed at a GM. The Giants GM,
Dave Gettleman, had to renegotiate contracts with 2 players because they are out of cap space to function for the rest of the year. So they had to move contracts to make $350,000 available just to get through the final 3 weeks of moving people on the rosters, adding people to the practice squad. He literally had no space left to get through the year. And that's like video game stuff.
It's pathetic. Like, come on, man.
You got one job. One job.
Make sure this team has money to put a team together.
Convert some of that Saquon Barkley money that he's been hurt, but convert some of the bigger contracts. Hey, I got an idea. Don't give Kenny Golladay $80 million.
Boom.
Like what?
Yep. Agreed. I mean, that come on, man. Like, I don't even have that much to say about it other than that's pathetic.
Man, that's bad right there, man. That's bad right there.
My defuck after Tom Brady breaking the Microsoft Surface and screaming at the Saints bench is it's a lighthearted one. It's not me going to be screaming right here or anything like that, but the Washington football team is going to be shipping their heated benches to the last 3 games, and they've already played the first of those 3 tonight in Philadelphia. But the Dallas Cowboys brought their benches from Dallas to Washington to play the football team because they're saying that the benches aren't the greatest. I mean, do you guys know anything about this? Is this like
man? Can I go on a total side note and tell you a story about the Washington football team benches?
Oh yes, this is exactly what we need.
God, was this I think this might have been my first year. So we travel for the Chargers. We go across the country to play what was then the other name team, now the Washington football team. And they have white benches, right? And we had God, what was it? What was your O-line coach's name your first year?
He wasn't mine. You're talking about Carl Mott, though.
Carl Mott. Mock.
Mock, I think it was. He left my rookie year. He was gone.
Gigantic, like sloppy dude. The benches are white. And Carl Mott has some brown substance on the back of his pants.
No.
And sits down on the bench.
No.
Comes up from the bench, and there is a streak across the white bench. Oh. I think it was Dillman. Somebody grabbed it.
It was legendary. It was legendary. It was such a good story, Skraby. I know this story, and I wasn't even there yet. This story made it to the next year.
I was on the practice squad at this point, so I didn't have to like go into the game, but I was not paying any attention to the game and was dying.
He pooped his pants,
or pooped his pants, but then sat down on the white bench and left a streak on the bench. And then one of the linemen took the little whiteboard marker and circled it on the bench. Oh, man. And so to get rid of all doubt, he changed pants at halftime. So we knew that was confirmation.
Oh,
so Marcus, you weren't even there yet, but you still heard about the story.
I wasn't even there. Like this, because he was the O-line coach. So the first thing that I heard, we had a new coaches coming in. Jack Henry, Hal Hunter were fairly new, but everybody was talking about Carl Mott. You know what I'm saying? The exact same way Greg just described it. Like I heard that story, and like I can see people's faces, like they're throwing up in their mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that nasty. Like I heard it was wet, and like it's just a bad sight. It was just a bad sight.
Oh,
it was wet.
That shit really didn't pop into my mind until you said Washington football team and benches, and it came all the way back.
So no wonder the Cowboys, ever since that day, no one's been able to use those benches.
Where's the Washington football team playing? So they've got.
They were in Philadelphia.
They're going to Dallas, so you don't need a bench there.
They said they're shipping them to their final three. Well, because Dallas brought theirs to their stadium because they said that their benches don't work.
I mean, it's a dome. But anyway,
Philly benches.
Philly January 2nd and New York January 9th. Those benches are clutch. Like they're warm. They're really actually warm.
Why can't the the home team just provide benches? Do you realize how much of a shipping fiasco this would be?
You just don't trust them. Look, how much was it? $5-10 grand to throw them bad boys into a truck and ship them there.
Bench
but they're heated. There's hot air flowing through them to warm your hamstrings, to warm your glutes
out the bottom. Yeah, that's lovely.
They got little foot holes to stick your foot in. They got a helmet holder to keep your helmet going. Oh, the cold helmet, Marcus, the cold helmet.
Oh my God. You have to have the heated bench. You have to have it, Skraby. I'm sorry. Like
no, I believe you guys. I do.
You know really how I hate like warm toilet seats?
Yeah.
It's the exact opposite for benches. I hate
unless you're Carl Mott.
Unless you're Carl Mott. Oh, could you imagine somebody just sat down by mistake and like, oh my God.
Can I dive into this story just a little bit? Because we're on our way out of this podcast. Did he poop his pants often, or was this just like one time?
I hope it was at one time.
This isn't the one off. Like for you to be in the middle of a game, you know what I'm saying?
And pooping your pants, you've done it a couple times.
Let me take that back. Maybe he had a case of diarrhea that we didn't know about. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't really control it. Maybe he thought he had like a little shark come out. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really know how bad it was.
You know, I used to, before I stopped drinking, I used to have a terrible stomach, and there were some really serious situations with my stomach. I've never shit myself. It's called Jim Beam.
It's called Jim Beam.
It is called Jim Beam, and everything
with red wine.
Yeah. I was telling someone over the weekend, they're like, well, what makes you an alcoholic? When did you really, really think you were an alcoholic? And this is off topic, but I was like, I was standing in my pantry at 3 a.m. drinking Baileys because there was nothing else. And that is when I became an alcoholic.
That was the moment you realized that.
It was the moment I confirmed it in my head. I was like, only alcoholics drink Baileys at 3 a.m. in their
at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Why were you in the pantry?
Because that's where the Baileys was. And I didn't want anybody to catch me.
All right, there you go.
Duh. Come on. Oh man. All right. This was a good week. Thanks again to George for joining us on the previous episode, George Reister. and Marcus on the road. Marcus, where are you?
Oh, I'm at mom and dad's house, actually. I'm actually in the ATL right now.
Wow.
I had no idea that it was 12:40 a.m. where Marcus is right now.
Bro, hey, we be locked in. Don't worry. Magic. Well, no, it's just they got the Omarion virus out. I can't go. I can't go anywhere.
Right there.
What you say?
What's that say on that board behind you?
I don't know. Some of mama got. Oh, congratulations.
What?
Yeah. Congratulations. It's like some. I think her and my daughter did it back in the day. They put it together, so it's on like some picture frame that has something else in it. But
very nice.
You know, grandma likes to make it special for her granddaughter.
Oh yeah. Well, hope everyone felt special listening to this podcast, especially the part where we found out that an NFL coach pooped his pants and then streaked it all over the bench. That was something I will.
No, you got to talk about the marker around it though. It
was clutch. It was diagram.
That's the clutch. The fact that somebody went and took a Sharpie and marked around it.
And so people were sitting around it, or did no one even come close to touching that part of the bench?
We're all laughing. No one's going to get near that.
I wasn't there, Skraby. I don't know. It's just
but this was so infamous that you heard about it a year later.
Yes, this is one of the best stories of my career.
Well, on that note, have a Merry Christmas, everyone. No, seriously, everybody, happy holidays. Thanks so much for listening to us. Thanks so much for interacting with us. And thanks so much for sharing this podcast with us. I guess I'll just say that it's just been this whole thing, getting together with Greg and Marcus and putting out this podcast each and every week. You guys are awesome. You guys always show up ready to go. And I just appreciate you both being as into this that I am, because it seems, you know, we have a lot of fun when we do this, and we appreciate everything everybody out there is saying about us, especially the people trying to tweet at 2 Pros and a Cup of Joe, which is not our show. So, but
we still love
them. We still love them. We still love them. But thanks, guys.
Come on. All right, man. Ho, 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 mofos.
Ho, ho, ho. Greg, you got anything?
Merry Christmas.
Okay. Wait, aren't you Jewish?
I celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas. I double dip.
You got the best of both worlds. When I was growing up, I had a friend like that, and I was like, man, you got it made, bro.
I'm a firm believer in all gift-giving holidays and receiving holidays.
Oh, man, my family and I told them I wasn't buying him gifts, and they're all pissed.
I saw your tweet.
They're pissed.
Do you not like receiving gifts?
No, I don't. It's so
want nothing to do with gifts.
Want nothing to do with gifts, because I don't want to give them, and I don't want to receive them.
That's very Grinchy.
That's why my name is the Grinch on the show.
you can I can see the Grinch coming. I can see it.
I'm just kidding. All right, everybody, have a happy holidays. We'll be back hopefully next week. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to you guys about the schedule.
We're in there.
We're there. All right.
I'm
talk
locked
to you next
in.
week.